really like Terence Crawford, right, because of his switch hitting style. Now, Terence Crawford is due a massive, he's due a massive performance, and I think Canelo's made for him. Canelo doesn't fight with any urgency anymore.
I know his spirit.
Yeah?
You gotta kill him. He a silent killer. I've been around niggas like that in the hood. Them niggas lay back until you bring it out, and then they just...
Terence Crawford has officially wrapped up his final day of training camp ahead of his blockbuster showdown with Canelo Álvarez. Joining him at camp was Turki Alalshikh, who showed unwavering support throughout the preparations. Crawford expressed his gratitude for Turki's presence and encouragement, acknowledging how much it meant during the grind. Despite the intense work behind him, Crawford made it clear the mission isn't over yet, carrying himself with calm confidence and a firm belief that he'll leave the ring victorious.
Hey, appreciate you. Everything that you done for you and Riyadh City. You must. You must.
Job ain't done yet.
Yeah.
Job ain't done yet.
Yeah. Saturday, deliver the job. No retirement. Yeah.
Terence Crawford's final phase of preparation has been defined by sheer determination and laser focus as he gears up for the biggest challenge of his career against Canelo Álvarez. Inside camp, Crawford has pushed himself to the limit, engaging in high-intensity sparring, fine-tuning his reflexes, and perfecting defensive maneuvers while keeping his offense sharp and explosive. His coaches highlight the discipline and consistency he's shown, underscoring a fighter who has truly left nothing to chance. Training footage captures him in peak condition, lean, powerful, and fully prepared to walk into the ring with absolute confidence. Crawford's confidence radiates in both his words and demeanor as he makes it clear that victory is within reach, even while acknowledging the immense challenge ahead. His interviews and training footage showcase a fighter who thrives under pressure, fully aware of the magnitude of facing a champion like Canelo, yet never wavering in self-belief. Beyond the physical grind, Crawford emphasizes his mental strength, conditioning his mind to remain unshaken no matter the circumstances. He reassures fans that with discipline, strategy, and unwavering determination, he's prepared to overcome every obstacle and emerge victorious.
How do you see this fight with Canelo going?
I'm definitely going to win the fight for sure. But, I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think he's going to bring the best out of me. I'm going to bring the best out of him. And it's going to get exciting.
Unlike many fighters who risk overtraining in the pursuit of perfection, Crawford has taken a smarter, more measured approach. He's been open about not wanting to push his body past its limits, choosing instead to maximize effort within well-structured training sessions. This approach highlights his maturity as an athlete who values recovery and balance just as much as intensity. For Crawford, the work put in during camp is enough. He knows that adding unnecessary strain could lead to fatigue or injury, and he's determined to step into fight night at his absolute best.
But right now, I'm not training hard. I'm not even training, really. I don't want to overtrain because me personally, when I go in the gym, I get my all, and I don't want to burn myself out.
Lester Martinez, Crawford's chief sparring partner, has issued chilling warnings about what awaits Canelo Álvarez on fight night. After logging countless rounds with Terence during camp, Martinez insists that Crawford's power is on another level, so much so that even Canelo will struggle to withstand it. While many believe Canelo holds the edge as the naturally bigger man, Martinez argues that inside the ring, Crawford feels every bit as strong and imposing. He described the sheer intensity of Crawford's punches as proof that a beast is coming for Canelo. Coming from someone who has felt that power firsthand, Martinez's words add serious weight to Crawford's preparations, reinforcing just how dangerous he looks heading into the fight.
No, está como dicen muchos, está cabrón.
está preparado, está listo, a pesar de venir de una categoría muy abajo, subir a la 168, pues yo tengo los sparring con él. Tanto lo he ayudado como he sentido que él me ha ayudado también a mí. Entonces, anteriormente estaba enfocado en ayudarlo, pero luego que me dijeron que yo iba a pelear, ¿sabes qué? Necesito ayudarte, pero que me ayudes. Y ya en el ring nos entendemos. Yo casi no hablo inglés. Todavía voy practicándolo, pero en el ring nos entendemos muy bien. Y hay una buena vibra, pero él está listo. Y yo también estoy listo.
El tema del peso, ¿cómo crees lo afectará en la noche de la pelea haciendo sparring con él?
¿Cómo?
Haciendo sparring con Terence, la gente habla, pues el Canelo es muy grande,
Sí.
2 categorías.
Bueno, en realidad en tamaño creo que están iguales, pero en diferencia de peso, sí, a lo mejor Canelo está más acostumbrado a esa categoría que Terence, pero te digo, vengo haciendo sparring con él desde que estaba en las 147 libras, mi primer sparring con él en las 147, yo era ya 168, sigo siendo 168, y lo único que hizo ahora pues es subir de peso, aumentar de peso, y sí, se siente muy diferente. Haber hecho sparring con él en 147 y ahora hacer sparring con él en 168. Pero yo creo que
¿Cómo se siente diferente?
en el sentido que le he sentido más pegada, más explosivo, la rapidez, el snap lo tiene todavía el cabrón, no lo ha perdido, lo he sentido, pero creo que la nutrición que lleva, el equipo de trabajo con el que tiene.
Former champion Duke McKenzie has made a bold prediction, claiming that Terence Crawford is perfectly built to dismantle Canelo Álvarez. Breaking down his analysis, McKenzie argues that many of Canelo's recent opponents, while strong, were not truly elite at Crawford's level. He believes Crawford brings a unique challenge, one defined by versatility, adaptability, and razor-sharp ring IQ. According to McKenzie, Crawford's ability to adjust mid-fight, combined with his timing and precision, gives him the exact tools needed to expose Canelo's vulnerabilities. While Canelo has triumphed over a wide range of styles, McKenzie insists he's never faced a fighter as complete and unpredictable as Crawford.
Over the years, when you look, since he's been off the mad cow meat, right? You look at his last 5 fights, he's boxed ordinary fighters, you know, and they're not in the same league. They're really not in the same league. And I think to myself, his last 5 fights, even what's that kid's name? Hamza Shiraz, right? So he boxed in his last fight. He knocked out, what's the kid's name?
Belanga.
Right, he knocked out Belanga. Belanga took your man there. He took him the distance. Now you only got to balance it up. If Belanga can take him the distance, you got to say to yourself, what is Terence Crawford going to do to Canelo? Sorry, to Canelo. I've got the names mixed up. Yeah, right. So, what's he going to do to? You know what? I look at the fight and I think to myself, I really like Terence Crawford, right, because of his switch hitting style. Now, Terence Crawford is due a massive. He's due a massive performance, and I think Canelo's made for him. Canelo doesn't fight with any urgency anymore. You don't get any head movement from him anymore. He doesn't show you a punch and hit you with another one anymore. There's no variety in his whole sort of makeup. And I look at him and I think to myself, Canelo's become, just in my opinion, I think he's become a little bit pedestrian in as much as goes in straight lines, comes out in straight lines. There's no urgency to his work.
One of the most debated topics leading up to this fight has been the weight difference, with critics warning that moving up to face Canelo would leave Crawford undersized. But recent training footage has quickly silenced much of that doubt. Crawford now looks bigger, stronger, and more conditioned than ever, impressing analysts who once questioned his chances. Many have noted that he's managed to bulk up without sacrificing speed, sharpness, or precision, turning what was seen as a disadvantage into a potential weapon. The transformation has even pushed some experts to predict not only a Crawford win, but the possibility of a knockout. His new physical presence has forced the boxing world to reconsider whether Canelo's supposed size advantage will matter at all once the two step into the ring.
Muscles don't win fights. And everybody, it seems like, that says muscles don't win fights usually have ridiculous muscle mass. Like Devin Haney was like, muscles don't win. And Devin's like way bigger than everybody else at 135 pounds and jacked to the gills. That's that snack shit. Okay, we're not doing that. But Terence Crawford also on that snack shit. Anyway, Bud Crawford did just drop a body transformation pic. Let's take a look at it. Boom! Son, I'm sorry, I have a flat tire. Does anyone have a jack to help me out? Oh, thank you, Bud Crawford. You're actually huge. The man has abs on his abs on his abs. I'm not trying to glaze, but that doesn't look like a 147 pounder. It doesn't look like a 154 pounder. That looks like a grown man. He's definitely put some weight on, coming to 168 pounds. And I can tell you that now. Take what I'm about to show you with a grain of salt because it is on weigh-in day, but look at what he was at 140 pounds. Now, again, he's out of camp, hasn't made the weight cut yet, but that's him right now. But, I mean, that is crazy. Couple of things. Yes, muscles don't win you fights, and the biggest question we have to ask now is, how will this newfound muscle mass affect Bud Crawford in the fight? Because one of the things I have said continuously about this fight is that the weight issue has been completely overblown by people. What I mean is, there is not a massive weight disparity between these two fighters. What Canelo walks around at and what Terence Crawford walks around at is probably similar, and maybe Terence Crawford even weighs a little more. I don't know. I saw the picture of the scale of him at 186. It may be a little less when he's normally not trying to gain weight, but that's not the point of the weight difference. The point of saying there is a weight difference is that Canelo Álvarez has consistently fought and been successful at 160 to 168.
Controversy has stirred after analyst Showbiz the Adult speculated about the possibility of the Canelo versus Crawford fight being fixed, pointing to Turki Alalshikh's presence in Crawford's camp. In one clip, Turki is heard telling Terence not to retire after the bout, which Showbiz interprets as potential code for owing a favor in return. The theory suggests that since Turki was instrumental in helping make the fight happen, he could expect something back from Crawford. While the claim remains purely speculative, it has sparked heated debate among fans and analysts, raising questions about whether outside influences could compromise the integrity of such a massive showdown.
On the first part, return the favor. But Turki, in a second thought, said, no, I'm going to deliver this message. He goes back to Bud, and he says, and don't retire after this. Don't retire.
No retirement. Yeah.
That's what Turki meant when he was trying to say, return the favor.
Yeah, see, you must retire. Yeah.
I did this for you. You got this big fight. Yeah, the job ain't done. Deliver the job, but don't retire. Return the favor. That is the most important part, and we're going to break that down. The deliver the job thing, that is more of a language difference, okay? Because Bud is saying, listen, the job ain't done. He said, oh yeah, deliver the job Saturday. Mostly meaning, put on a good fight. Fight your heart out. If you win, cool. That'll be best if you win. But I'm just saying, it's not about winning. Winning is about trying. Winning is about going for greatness. Marvelous Marvin Hagler wasn't undefeated. Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, Muhammad Ali, Sam Langford, Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey, some of these Gene Tunney, some of the greatest fighters of all time, Willie Pep, Sadie Sadler. These guys weren't undefeated, right? But that's what made them great, is that they were taking on all challenges. His Excellency Turki Alalshikh knows that the product isn't the fighter. The product is the sport. So he's trying to put on the best matches, which is why he's saying, don't retire, return the favor, because I got more ideas for you.
Rapper Boozy weighed in on the matchup, calling Terence Crawford a silent killer. He explained that Crawford's calm demeanor and quiet confidence make him even more dangerous, as he doesn't rely on trash talk or bravado to intimidate opponents. Instead, his actions inside the ring speak volumes, fueled by an unshakable determination. Boozy warned that Canelo should be extremely cautious, because Crawford's composure masks the explosive power and pinpoint precision he unleashes once the bell rings. By dubbing him a silent killer, Boozy captured the true essence of Crawford's persona, a fighter who doesn't chase attention with words, but delivers devastating statements with his fists.
Yes, I know his spirit.
Yeah?
He got a killer in him. He a silent killer. I've been around niggas like that in the hood. Them niggas lay back until you bring it out, and then they just, you know, I've been like that with them niggas. Like I didn't watch Crawford. I done hung out with this nigga. This is my boy. Like this nigga got a killer in him. You know, Canelo better be fucking ready. Like this nigga got a killer in him.
Boxing analyst Russ Amber emphasized how unprecedented Terence Crawford's leap truly is, jumping multiple weight classes to take on one of the sport's most dominant champions. He noted that only a handful of fighters in history have dared to make such a move, and even fewer have found success. For Amber, this bold step reflects not just Crawford's ambition, but his willingness to risk everything in pursuit of greatness. He praised Crawford's fearlessness, stressing that regardless of the outcome, simply accepting this challenge sets him apart from the vast majority of fighters and solidifies his place in boxing history.
Can't think of anybody, especially someone who hasn't even competed in that division. So, yeah, I can't think of anybody. And to think that Crawford, you know, started out at 135. I mean, the last guy I can think of doing that would have been Duran, but I think Duran went up and won the title at middleweight, you know, and he didn't do it all in one fell swoop. It was one weight category after another. You know, Leonard at 35, Davey Moore at 54, then Iran Barkley at 60. I mean, it just kept moving up, but I don't know of anybody that's gone from 35 up to 168 and basically leapfrog the division. So from champion at 147, one fight at 154, and then leapfrogs over an entire section of top 10 contenders at 168 pounds, never having fought at 168. Oh, the leapfrogs 160, over into the contenders at 168, right into a title shot. I can't think of anybody that's done that. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. Tommy, over the last couple of years, I think Canelo's come to rely on his power. Do you think that'll be enough against Crawford's ring IQ and his combinations and footwork?
You know, I can't think of any fighter where punching power alone is enough. So, you know, Canelo has come around with two things, punching power and defense. He's still very, very difficult to hit, which allows him to load up on shots and get into the range that he wants to get into, where he can fire away with hard punching power, not setting them up as much as he used to in the past, not having that, you know, that same work rate that he used to have. But if he's just thinking of going out there looking for that one shot.
Another major talking point surrounding this matchup has been the size comparison between Canelo and Crawford. For years, Canelo has been viewed as the naturally bigger man, but recent footage tells a different story. Crawford now appears to match, if not surpass, Canelo in physical size. Observers recall how he already looked strong and well-adjusted when he moved up for the Madrimov fight, but at 168, he seems to have filled out his frame even more impressively. The sight of a bulked-up yet still sharp Crawford has shocked analysts who once believed Canelo's physical presence would be overwhelming. Instead, the narrative has shifted. Crawford looks every bit Canelo's equal in size, and perhaps even holds the edge.
Now, when he fought Israel Madrimov, that was at the 154-pound weight limit, but when Crawford actually got into the ring on fight night, he was actually the heavier of the two men, clocking in at 169.8 pounds, we'll call it 170, just for the ease of the video, but 170 pounds at 154, that's a very, very solid rehydration. That is a very good weight for a 154-pound fighter. And our man Canelo Álvarez gives us evidence and testament to this. I've gone back through the years to have a look at what Canelo weighed in the ring when he fought 154 pounds to give us context as to the size difference. And don't get me wrong, Canelo will be bigger now than he was back then, but Crawford will be too. Crawford will also put that extra size on, and whilst he's not experienced fighting with the extra weight, it will give us some kind of understanding of how much of an issue it might be. We'll take everything into account, but just to begin with, you know, how big is the size difference? Well, going back and looking at some of these fights, we'll start with the Floyd Mayweather fight. So that was at 152-pound catch weight, and I said in my tactical video that Canelo was dehydrated for that one, that he wasn't at his maximum capability. Now, I still stand by that assessment because he was so green in his career, and because I feel his best performances have come at higher weight classes, and especially where he's not been having to cut lots of weight. But just for context in that one, he was 165 pounds in the ring versus Floyd that night. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather weighed 150.5 pounds, so there was actually a a 14.5-pound weight difference that night. So you start to understand where I'm going with this in this video. I want to look at the context of where there's been weight gaps before. So someone who was 14.5 pounds lighter than Canelo was able to beat him on that night. Now look, Mayweather is an all-time great. Mayweather was unbelievably skilled and had soldiers tied up in knots. He couldn't do anything with him. But let's look at some other fights for some more context. When he fought Austin Trout, they were around about the same when they got in the ring. When they fought at 154 pounds, Canelo was 172 and Trout was 171. And that's really interesting to look at because that tells us that Canelo was only a couple of pounds heavier than Crawford when rehydrated when he fought at 154 pounds.
Crawford's trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, has been firm in his stance that people underestimate just how big Terence really is. In his words, asterisk, the jump to 168 pounds is not as drastic as critics make it out to be. Asterisk Bomac argues that Canelo's size has been exaggerated and that Crawford possesses the natural frame and strength to hold his own at super middleweight. His confidence in Crawford's adaptability reflects the mindset inside camp, that Terence isn't venturing into unfamiliar territory, but instead stepping into a weight class where he can truly thrive.
Bomac also added that when Crawford said that he's gonna fight Canelo at 168, that he was completely fine with it because Crawford is already a natural big guy to begin with, and that once again, contrary to popular belief, Canelo is not the bigger guy. Basically, if anything, it's easier for Crawford because he's no longer gonna have to drain himself.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, and until next time,